Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number PK55W white PemkoPrene adhesive-backed fire smoke gasketing. This is the packaging that it comes in. This happens to be a 17-foot roll. It's available in 18-foot, 20, 21-foot, 25-foot, and 510 feet. The logic of the roll length is 17 foot. It would be perfect for a 3-foot by 7-foot door. 7 foot plus 7 foot is 14 plus 3 is 17. If you had a 407, you'd go with 18 foot. 21 foot is normal for a 6-foot by 7-foot opening. And if you had a bunch of doors, you'll certainly want the 510 foot length. Because it's per foot it's less costly because there's no waste of all the paper and packaging. Got the end of the bag open here so we can take a look at the PK55 itself. It is a classic teardrop shape sort of adhesive gasketing, but this is a specific model that is a bit more tolerant with a tighter gap generally than what you've got. It's got a low closing force, and it's specifically engineered for tighter frames, meaning there's less margin between the door and frame. That will compress down significantly. I can get that down to a 1/16 of an inch for sure. And that's really what it's for. Okay, the PK is PemkoPrene. That is a synthetic material proprietary to Pemko. The 55 is representative of the design or the shape of this material, the type, what it is. The W means white. This is in a white finish, obviously. Black, dark brown, those are also common finishes. This is material that is generally used in installations where you have a fire-rated, smoke-rated opening. Okay, so an application that you'll see that very often is in a hotel where you've got your suite entry doors. Those are certainly smoke-rated, gasket-required doors, maybe even 20-minute or whatever the case might be, requiring a means to weather seal the door to be compliant with that smoke or fire-rated installation. Okay. This material is specifically used for that application mostly. However, I have successfully used this gasketed material to augment an existing installation that may not be fire-rated or smoke-rated requirement. I like the material because while it's effective at helping retard the transmission of dust, debris, sound, obviously temperature, you can tell that it's effective that when you, after having installed it, you can see the pattern of where dust tries to move through the frame, where it builds that up and stops it from doing so. Okay. The teardrop shape, that's just obvious where that comes from. There is a link below this video to what is called the cut sheet. And the cut sheet is really, it's an installation overview. Quite frankly, it is part of what's on the back side of the installation instructions that are included with the package. You can see where the material is installed depending on where you are if you're looking at the cut sheet, according to the hinge jamb, the strike jamb, or the header, where actually it applies. Okay. Dimensionally, the item, there's an image below this video showing what that looks like. Let's go over it now. It's 1/2 of an inch wide, 3/16. So the 3/16 wide. The 1/2 inch is typical and common. The standard material is usually about a 1/4 inch wide. Well, this one is a little bit smaller. Okay. Now, there is also a link below this video to the installation instructions, and those are indeed packaged with the material, and we're going to go over that now. I've installed this material, and well, I've installed it because it's been required, but I've also installed it because it's easy to install. However, getting it installed properly sometimes requires some patience and getting accustomed to the proper way to install this material. Let's go over it now. So on the installation instructions, step 1, pre-cut the hinge jamb, strike jamb, and the header pieces to fit the installation. You would not want to run it as a continuous length. Those inside corners between the jamb and the header would be a point of failure. So you'd want to make sure to pre-cut those. You could even cut them on a miter at those intersections where they will meet. Cut the adhesive gasketing. Indeed, it says at a 45-degree angle at the corners where the top and sides meet. Step 2 is to remove approximately 24 inch of the material, of the adhesive backing from the material. Okay, and then begin your installation. So you've got it cut. I like to do the header first. You've got it cut to the right length. Peel away some of the adhesive and then begin to attach it. Now, one thing that's super important is not to stretch the material as you're installing it, not to apply force and then try to run it along. Any sort of stretching in the material during installation will be a point of failure. The material will want to resume its natural elasticity, which it's not very elastic whatsoever. And the next day when you come in, you'll see that it's come off the frame in terms of where the adhesive is. So you're going to want to just apply pressure. I also like peeling away less than 24 inch, closer to 12 inch. It allows me to not have too much of the adhesive exposed. I don't want to unintentionally bump it on the frame or on my clothing or anything like that. So I don't want to have to peel it off. It would compromise the adhesive. I would also, I have also found that I'm able to get better control over exactly how straight I'm applying it, but I've got less of the adhesive exposed to deal with. So a little bit of patience. The problem if you rush through it is that the lines on a frame are straight, and if your weather stripping installation is wavy, it'll become very obvious, and it'll look, quite frankly, it'll look very amateur in that part of the installation. I have found taking time and patience will give you a better sort of result, especially if it is indeed a fire or smoke rated door. Any failure in the installation would cause the door to not be compliant with that requirement. Speaking of that, a label is included with the material so that you can apply that to the frame, and that will signify to the inspector that the material is compliant with the requirement. And that would be important that it be there for that intention. Before you get to the installation aspect, though, we're going to want to start at the other thing that's included in the package, and that's a frame cleaner. It's an alcohol pad basically to clean the frame. My experience has taught me that the frame must be completely clean and free of any dust or debris, and that the paint must be thoroughly cured a week after it's been painted, let's say, to ensure that the material, the sub-material that it's being put down to, is ready to receive the material. Any dust or debris, the material is going to fail. You'll come the next day and it will be disconnected with no possibility of really getting it put back on. So clean the frame and then clean it again, and maybe a third time. That has taught me, especially if you're installing it in a known dusty environment and you're using it outside of its intended requirement of being a fire or smoke gasket situation. You want to be sure that it's clean. Paint a week after cure. Normal interior temperatures. Getting it installed in an exterior door, when it's below freezing outside, you'd not want to attempt that until the frame was of a standard room temperature. When you place it on the frame, you're going to want to place it per the installation instructions on the rabbet as indicated. Once installed, apply firm pressure along the entire surface of the product to ensure proper adhesion to the frame. Just pushing, not pushing and then pulling down, just pushing only. The rest of the installation instructions call out the finer details of what we've discussed. Do not stretch the material, double check adhesion 2 or 3 hours after, before leaving the job overnight, etc. Common sense sorts of things. Here's the bottom line. If you've got a really clean frame and you don't stretch the material out, you're going to be in good, and you are patient and take your time when installing it, you'll have success. I've seen this material installed in countless applications, as indicated earlier, and I like the PK55 versus the S88, which is a industry standard for this sort of material. I like the fact that it is a low closing force model, which means that there will be less of an obstacle to a spring hinge or to a door closer getting the door latched. Okay, so if it's fire rated, that door's got to be self-closing, but it's got to be self-latching as well. And the less that a closer or a spring hinge has to overcome to get the job accomplished, I'm all in favor of that. And it's as compliant as the 1/4 inch wide model as well. So I prefer this. I find going in at the beginning with a low closing force model with a tighter margin model, it's hard to make an argument against it, unless of course you have an unusually large gap, which might be a problem for fire rating anyway. Anyway, Pemko is a comprehensive manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, not only adhesive gasketing like this, but thresholds, door sweeps, perimeter gasketing, material made of aluminum, stainless steel, architectural bronze. Their name is synonymous with weather stripping. And I'm partial to Pemko, and it's because they're very good customer service, excellent technical support, the ability to ship things reasonably fast, and support their product. If you have any questions on the Pemko PK55W, white PemkoPrene adhesive fire smoke gasketing, or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us.